welcome back. Welcome to YouTube channel Nick Talks. Myself Upashana Pandey. So this is the second part that will wrap up the portion of the alimentary canal, and we will be starting with our esophagus, and then we will discuss the rest of the parts of the alimentary canal, and by this video we will be completing the total discussion on the alimentary canal. So let's start the video. Esophagus is a muscular cylindrical structure that carries the food from this pharynx to the duodenum. It has two constrictions. This is the upper esophageal sphincter and this is the lower one. This lower one is also known as the cardiac sphincter that directs the entry of the food to the stomach. And the peristaltic movement, that is a characteristic feature of our gut. That is what starts with this esophagus. The rhythmic contraction of the smooth muscles of the digestive system directs the food to the succeeding part of the canal. That is the peristaltic movement. So what happens now when there is one peristalsis? So you see here the peristaltic movement has occurred. This has pushed the food downward, and so here is one constriction, and here it will be some bulging because the food has entered this region. Again the peristaltic movement will occur here. This will further push down the food. Okay, so this is all we need to know about the esophagus. Now we have entered our stomach. So the entry of the food to the stomach is directed by the cardiac sphincter, that is the lower esophageal sphincter, or the gastroesophageal sphincter. And when we enter the stomach, it consists of the various parts. The food has entered, okay, the portion through which the food enters, that portion of the stomach is the cardiac part, and from the cardiac part of the stomach there is some upward elongation of the stomach, that is the fundus. This fundus part do not have any role in the digestion. It is a bit hard structure, means the wall is a bit grown at this portion, okay, and it contains the gases. When we take in the food, some of the air reaches our alimentary canal, and that gets stored into this fundic part of the stomach. Okay, now the food from this cardiac part will enter the portion of the stomach, that is the body of the stomach. Okay, here the process of digestion will be continued, and now from this body of the stomach the food will go to the pyloric part. This pyloric part consists of one antrum and one pyloric canal. Okay, and from this pylorus the commencement of the duodenum will occur. Okay, it is regulated by another sphincter, that is the pyloric sphincter, that regulates the entry of the food to the duodenum from the stomach. Okay, so what are the parts? We will discuss once more. Here is the cardiac part. Wait, here is the cardiac part. Then this is the fundus, that is the upward elongation from this cardiac part. Then the body of the stomach, and then the pyloric part. This pyloric part consists of an antrum and a canal, and it ends at the pyloric sphincter where the duodenum starts. So as already stated that this entry of the food from the stomach to the duodenum is regulated by this pyloric sphincter. You see, this is the pyloric antrum, the pyloric canal, and the pyloric sphincter where the stomach opens into the C-shaped duodenum. What is this duodenum? This is the first part of the small intestine. Now, when we talk of the small intestine, the total length of the small intestine, this is 6 meter. You understand, 6 meter length. The height of the average height of a tall person is around 180 centimeter, and this length of the small intestine is 600 centimeter. So you understand how extensively it is coiled inside our gut. The small abdominal cavity, it contains other structures, and along with that it contains the 6 meter long small intestine. So it is highly coiled structure, the small intestine. The small intestine consists of 3 parts. This is the C-shaped duodenum, then this is marked in blue, this is the jejunum, and then this is the ileum. Okay, this ileum is more in length and even more coiled. Okay, And when we talk of this duodenum, jejunum and ileum, this is the part where the digestion of the food is completed and the absorption of the food is started. Absorption of the food to the blood is started. This is about the small intestine. Now we will look into the large intestine. The ileum opens into a sac-like bag. This is the cecum. This cecum has a elongated structure hanging from it which does not have any role in digestion in case of human. This is the appendix. And from the cecum, the ascending colon starts. Ascending colon, then the transverse colon, then this is the descending colon, the sigmoid colon, then this rectum where the feces are stored, and then the anal canal and the anus. Through the anus, the undigested food particles are thrown out of the body. So these are the structures of the large intestine. Now the length of the large intestine is 1.5 meter. Then why this is large? Because the diameter of the large intestine is larger than that of the small intestine. The main function of this large intestine is to absorb the water. The absorption of water is what is the function of the large intestine. Okay, absorption of the water and the formation of the feces, that is the concentration of the feces that occurs in this large intestine. So these are all about the large intestine, and this large intestine consists of cecum, that is a sac-like bag which has an extension, that is the appendix. This appendix do not have any role in the digestion of the human body. Then why this is present? Because at the earlier ages people used to eat the plant products and people had the quality, had the capability of digesting the cellulose. This digestion of the cellulose of the food occurred inside this appendix. But now, due to evolution, human being is not capable of digesting the cellulose. So slowly with time, with over long years, this appendix has become unusable in function. So it has become a vermiform, the vestigial organ of the body. That means it does not have any, it does not serve any function of the body, and it get swollen due to some infections, and that causes a lot of pain. At that time this appendix has to be cut and thrown out of the body by the surgery. Okay, and then our cecum, it is a bag-like structure, hollow bag-like structure from where the ascending colon starts, then the transverse colon, descending colon, then the sigmoid colon, and then the rectum, anal canal, and then the food is thrown by the anus, thrown out of the body via the anus. So these are all about the large intestine. Let us one more see the pathway through which the food travels. The food enters, the complex food particles enters via the mouth, then it enters the buccal cavity. In this buccal cavity, there starts the digestion of the food. The digestion of the carbohydrate, that is especially the starch, that is partially done into our mouth. And then that partially digested food enters our pharynx. What is that? And that is the common passage to our larynx, then to the windpipe, that is the respiratory system, and this esophagus, that is the digestive system. Okay, so the pharynx, from the pharynx the food goes to the esophagus. This esophagus has the rhythmic contraction, that is the peristaltic movement of the gut that helps the food to go downward. And then the food enters the stomach from the esophagus, guarded by the gastroesophageal sphincter. The stomach, what is the function of the stomach? Is to digest some of the part of the carbohydrate and mainly the part of the protein that is done by the pepsin, and also make the food acidic so that the pepsin can work on it. And then this stomach has the cardiac part, from this the food from where the food enters, then the upward elongation, that is the fundus, then the body, then the pylorus. This pylorus consists of the pyloric antrum and the pyloric canal. And then from this pylorus the food enters the duodenum, guarded by the pyloric sphincter. Duodenum means that is the first part of the small intestine. From this duodenum the food goes to the the jejunum, then the ileum, then the cecum. In this duodenum, most of the undigested food is digested. The portion of the food that were not digested till stomach, everything is digested in duodenum. Here lots of digestive juices are poured and there is a complex network of the digestion of the food that occurs in the duodenum. And then slightly some part of it is digested in the jejunum, and mainly the absorption of the food starts from this jejunum. And the cilium is solely concentrated with the absorption of the food, absorption of the simpler food particles. Then it enters the cecum, then the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon. In this colon, that is the large intestine, what happens? The absorption of the water occurs. Absorption of the water occurs and there are mucus. Those mucus are secreted and the mucus mixes with the undigested food particles. The water is absorbed, so there is a solidification. The gradual solidification of the feces occurs in this large intestine and the feces are formed. Those are stored into this rectum, and when we have the urge to throw these undigested food particles out, it exits our body via the anus. So these are all about the alimentary canal. Now in the next part of this digestion and absorption chapter, we will be having the discussion on the wall of the alimentary canal, the modification of the wall at the various parts, and the digestive glands present in the various parts of the alimentary gut wall, alimentary canal wall. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching the video, and वीडियो को लाइक कर देना अगर आपको पसंद आए तो, कमेंट पे लिखना कि अगर कोई दिक्कत हो तो, और अगर आप नए हो तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर देना और अपडेटेड रहना ऐसे ही नए वीडियोस, ऐसे एनसीईआरटी बेस्ड नए वीडियोस के लिए, जो कि तुम्हारे लिए बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट होगा तुम्हारे सिलेबस कंप्लीट करने में. सो होप यू एंजॉय द वीडियो. बाय बाय, टेक केयर.